Greetings, dear viewer. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What is your favorite number? The answer is 4, because that's the title of this little video review. 4 tips on how to become a better public speaker and captivate your audience by motivation to study. Well, motivation to study, let's see what this video is about. Dude, okay, I haven't watched this video, but just from like the title, I'm almost positive that this is going to be a bunch of like, you got to find your passion, inspire people, connect with your audience. It's going to be a lot of self-help, like motivational speaking, but I guarantee, okay, I can't say I guarantee, I don't know, but this is what it always happens. These are things that you can do right now for your next speech, but it's all going to be like this crazy like self-help motivational speaking stuff that you can't actually apply to a meeting. Motivation to study, please prove me wrong. Please. I beg you. All right, let's get into it. And here we are. Let us begin.
Do what you can, where you are, with what you have, and never be satisfied.
I called it.
Anticipation is the ultimate advantage in business and in life. Like,
what did he say?
In business and in be satisfied. Anticipation is the ultimate advantage in business and in life. Like, you're not 100% sure what could happen if you keep going. You can do it.
Is this just okay, so this is not it. This is like the intro. Okay.
Better.
But, oh, Jesus. I mean, like, it's just a bunch of platitudes. Watch me make a whole bunch right now. I'm just not famous. Like, I'm nobody. But, like, because some guy, if you come in with the feeling to prove yourself, you will be remembered. There's nothing that you can't do that you can't send your mind to. If you believe that you come with value, people will see it. Like, it's the illusion of information, because you're like, yeah. But what does that mean? It's just an idea. One of my big things is like, don't just tell me ideas. Give me a tactic. All right.
What do you tell people when they ask you, how can I present like you? How can I get better?
I'm going to say, okay, because it's Simon Sinek, I'm going to say it's going to be something, I don't know, like you got to be your authentic self. You got to make them care about what you're saying. You have to make them feel like you're giving them something that's going to make them better, something like that. We'll see. But not to say that's wrong. It's more like, will you actually give me a tactic to do that? Because remember, viewer, if you are listening to all these like leadership gurus and all this kind of shit, if they're just giving you ideas without tactics, then it's platitudes. I always ask my question, as opposed to what? Like, you really got to find a way to give your audience some value. If you give them value, they will listen to you. Yeah, that's what I thought I was doing. As opposed to what? Giving them a speech that's going to waste their time on purpose? Like, do you know what I'm saying? You have to ask yourself that question when you listen to these people. I'm going to ask it now. We'll see. I like Simon Sinek. I'm not talking trash, but I'm just saying. Lots of ideas, no execution.
Really helps is I've learned about the perspective to change my perspective. So for example, I show up to give. And I always remind people that the most important thing about being an effective presenter, an effective speaker, is you have to show up with a giving attitude. You have to show up to give. You know something, you've seen something, you've done something, you've tried something that someone else thinks others need to hear. That's why they invited you to speak.
As opposed to what? I mean, not that he's wrong, but that's a great little idea. But there's not a single person who does a speech and it's like, I'm just here to take. Well, actually, that's not true. If you're doing a speech, but yeah, it is true, because like, listen, even if you're doing a speech and all you're doing is trying to sell yourself, you're doing it because you think that what you can provide these people who are listening is of value. Unless you're like one of these wealth gurus who are all con men. Watch CoffeeZilla. Watch CoffeeZilla. I love you, CoffeeZilla.
The problem is the number of people who show up to take, to get. And you can see it. It's very plain to see. People ask a question and they say, you'll have to buy my book.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
Or you could just tell me the answer because you know the answer because you wrote the book, right? But clearly they're trying to drive book sales. It's a taking mentality.
So if you're like me, you watch it like, yeah, that's a very good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, I got to make sure to give. I got to make sure to. How? This is a great idea, zero execution.
Every single slide of their PowerPoint has their Instagram, their email, their
That is
website,
annoying.
their Facebook.
That's super annoying. You know what else is annoying, everybody? Here's a little tip. The logos on it, or like the preset corporate slide with like this, and then it never fits all the things you want to put into it. And everybody knows who's talking anyway. The amount of people who work at like company X, who have the company X logo on their PowerPoint while presenting to people at company X in company X, like, it's just wasted space. That's what I think of when the emails and stuff too.
Well, clearly they want you to follow them. They want you to reach out. The last slide is their website and their email, right? They have a taking mentality. They come up and the first thing they do is tell you their credentials. Hi, my name is,
You know what's so funny about that? That's so true. Okay, Simon, I agree with you on that, because nobody gives a fudgesicle. Like, honestly, when I'm doing training and stuff like that, they're like, they want to read my bio, and I'm like, nobody cares. Just let me start. Like, let's just start doing things. They'll care about my bio and my accomplishments if I've given them something that they're like, wow, that was really useful. So with this, I agree with this point. Again, what's the alternative? I'll give you an alternative in this video, but let's see if they do one.
Dr. Blah blah. I have 6 PhDs. I've worked for 55 companies. I advise CEOs and generals. And let me tell you a little something. It's about them.
It's also kind of boring, because if you're like me in those meetings, you kind of patiently wait for that to be over before you actually start listening, right? Because you know exactly what it's going to be. Oh, he's just talking and introducing himself. And you're like, waiting till the next slide.
It's very easy and very quick to discern who's the giver and who's the taker. The best speakers, 100% of them.
Give.
You look at all the top 10
give.
folks, Sir Ken Robinson, Amy Cuddy, Brene Brown, right? Dan Pink, all of them.
Yeah, because they're professional speakers. Apply this concept, if this is to also improve my public speaking, to my training session where I have to get everyone certified on like an ISO 9000 interface. How would I do it then? I'm doing a presentation on regional sales opportunities for a pharmaceutical company. How the F does that apply? Here's the thing. And here's the other thing, everyone who's making your speeches, you watching this, every time you make your presentations, you think you're doing this. So unless there's a tactic to show you how to recognize when you're not, and I will give you one at the end of this video, this is just, again, great ideas, nothing's gonna change.
All of them are there to give.
Also, all those people are professional speakers, that's their job. They're not mechanical engineer who has to speak at something. They're not marketing sales manager who has to present something. That's the difference here. When people, and this is, I have a feeling this whole thing is going to be these people who their job is just to be speakers. So they can't actually empathize and put themselves in a position of someone who's got 4 people in a meeting room and you have 5 minutes and you have to talk about, some, I don't know, some like circuit and why that circuit was improved upon with an incremental change for a new certification.
None of them want anything from anybody, not even your approval.
Bullshit. No. Every person he said did tours for their books. I'm just saying, dude.
I don't know any great speaker that stands in the backstage that goes, I'm gonna get a standing ovation. You may get one if you earn it, if they decide that you have given them.
Yeah, but they probably think it. Come on, Simon. If you're honest with yourself, you don't think you're like, yeah, though. You don't think in your head you got something that's going to inspire them, and don't you want that? Again, nothing to do with our day-to-day speaking, just like motivational thought leaders.
That's not the reason you show up. You show up to give.
Okay, so before whoever this person is, informed to inspire, of course, it's just going to be a bunch. I can almost tell you exactly what this guy's going to say. We'll see. But before I do that, let me talk about some tactics so that if you think you're giving and you're not, the way Simon Sinek has just talked about, how do you know and how do you recognize it? Number one, something he said, they're doing all the talking. If you are there and doing a presentation, within the first few minutes, have your audience doing something on their own. Let them do the work. For example, if you're going to be doing a presentation, and again, I'm not going to use any of this leadership thought stuff. Let's suppose you're doing a presentation on maybe some new research. You're doing a grant proposal on some new research. You got to get your audience to do something first, right? You can't think about like, am I giving them something? Of course, that's the whole point of it. You're doing a grant proposal. You have to do like a 5-minute kind of pitch to 4 people around the world on a virtual prompt. What do? Number one, you get them to find an answer to something. For example, we treat you. Let's suppose you're doing a presentation on addiction treatment, and you say, for the whole world has problems with addiction, and we've tried all these different things. Why don't they work? Just real quick in the chat, can everyone give me like, why don't you think any of these things work? Or do you think they are working? And then you wait. You get them doing stuff, because that's going to prime them for like an answer. They're either going to be thinking, okay, I disagree with you, so change my mind, or they're going to be thinking, that's a very good question because of A, B, C, and D, and you've already primed them for a solution. They feel like they're going to get something out of it. That's a secret. Use that as a tactic. Get your audience to do something, answer a question, decide something in advance. You can do like a poll, you know what I mean? Those are just super easy stuff. I'm going to end it here because I feel like I've been talking already. I get so triggered by some of this stuff. I love Simon Sinek. I've read his books and stuff like that. But at a certain point, we have to understand that the vast majority of people who teach public speaking communication are teaching you to be motivational speakers. And that's why you watch them. You're like, that's really interesting. Oh yeah, that's so valuable, so valuable. And it changes nothing. I hope this guy's going to be wrong, but in the next video, we'll find out. Okay. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.